Brothers and sisters and friends, this afternoon we want to talk about the ballot or the bullet. The ballot or the bullet explains itself. We have a fight that's common to all of us. We suffer political oppression, economic exploitation, and social degradation. Today it's time to stop singing and start swinging.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.
Hey, check. Hello.
First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
What's going on, y'all? Hey. Welcome. Fresh edition is going on right now. It is the 26th of February, 2025. Already coming up to the end of the month. And the weather is reflecting that a little bit.
Man.
Like a little warmer outside. Might even get up to 50.
Yeah. I was quite surprised. I still have the weather connected to my laptop, so when I log on, I still see the temperature. And I was quite surprised to see like 50, mid-50s the other day. Wasn't it just like 2 below?
Yeah, sure. It wasn't Mississippi, but it was 2 below
last
week. Yeah, and it's been feeling like a negative 25, of course, all last week. And then all of a sudden, within 3 or 4 days, it was up to 40, 50. So that's what it is. And I've been here long enough to know, don't get comfortable enjoying that. We'll probably get hit by another one right before.
Yeah,
you know what it is.
Sounding like a real Omahan now.
Good morning, Pops gives us a good Wednesday morning, First Sky, and mad love from Las Vegas. Appreciate you, Pops. Mama God says, good morning, fam. She says, I know you happy, Paul. Yeah. My attitude is definitely different when the weather's better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Judy Prinzer gives us a good morning, everyone. What's happening? Mark Manor says, good morning. Got the breakfast pork chop in my belly and ready for news. Man.
Okay.
You getting ready.
Right. Pork chops for breakfast. All right.
Yeah. Hey, that's one thing about Brother Manor. He be doing breakfast big.
Okay.
All the time, posting about it too. I'll be like, man, the breakfast look good. Where you at right now? Yeah. So that's what's up, man. Appreciate you coming on in with a belly full. Hopefully we'll get you a mind full of information too.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, good things happening today. We got special guest Maurice Jones coming on through today as you saw a little bit at the top of the hour there. And guess what? He's one of how many people now?
Man, I'm losing count. There's people coming in and coming out. They're coming out of the woodwork.
We're gonna talk about today, man. District 2. What's going on?
Yeah.
We got so many candidates. How come we not consolidating? What's happening? We need to find out what's going on here, because it seems strange. In other parts of the city is like, what's going on with District 2? Why you got so many people running? I think it was like 10 or 12 at one point.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah, I do remember it was like a forum. I think that was over the weekend, a forum with 4 or 5 of the candidates, and that was like, it's not even half of them. So it's quite a bit.
We'll be talking about it. We'll talk about it with him, find out his reasonings for running and what he plans on doing as well. So stay tuned for him. Maurice Jones going to join us pretty soon. And we'll go ahead and jump into a little bit of community news. We appreciate you guys joining us again early this morning. Please do us a favor, share the show on your page. If you're on Facebook and if you're on YouTube, like and subscribe, do all those things. Tell a friend. Love to get as many voices in as we can. We definitely want to talk to everybody and get this conversation on the road. So first and foremost, really big news that's going on in the community. It's kind of dominated all last night was what's going on at Union for Contemporary Art.
Yeah.
They're forming a union, the Union.
Okay.
It was funny to say Union.
Yeah.
So,
say that 5 times fast.
Yeah.
You.
That's been going down. We definitely love to hear your thoughts on that, but we're not gonna share too many thoughts yet. We need more information. This is breaking news. This is the thing that's going on. The union is giving their mission statement here, saying basically due to their commitment to that mission, to their mission, that we employees of the Union for Contemporary Art announce our intention to unionize with the Communication Workers of America Denver Newspaper Guild. So there's been some firing, some retaliation, some things that's been going on. They talk about it on February 25th. We delivered a letter of voluntary recognition to UCA leadership on February 25th. 5 UCA staff members were fired. We view these firings as a retaliation to our unionized efforts. If staff are not reinstated, the CWA will file an unfair labor practice charge with the NLRB on our behalf.
Mm.
Those of you who don't know who the Union for Contemporary Art is, it's a major institution right there on the Deuce, right there on 24th and Lake. So we try to keep our eye on what's going on there. It's a major institution, really. Why unionize? Of course, they talk about solidifying the organization's human first policies. Some drama going on over there. We'll talk more about it as we go. But they also put a call out for support. How can I support? Visit the link in the bio, sign your name in solidarity. Before I sign anything, I like to find out the story and see what's going on. So the very first thing I did was check in with the person who thought up the union in the first place, Brigitte McQueen, friend of mine that is the one who put this together. She's no longer at the union, so I was wondering, where she stood on that, and she had a statement that she put out that I guess she's in solidarity with the union. So we'll put the statement in Friends of First Sky Omaha. I don't know if I want to take the time to read that quite yet. We'll come back to it because, like I said, we need to get more information, more news, and find out what's happening there. So before we do the one thing that we do around here, before we kind of start talking about our opinions about it and stating stuff, and we kind of want to dig and find out the facts. We're the guys that take a little bit of a moment to dig in and find out what's really happening before we want to speak on it. So we'll definitely do that. There's people coming in now. Looks like people are commenting on. Is this Joaquin's in the chat? Good morning. Good morning. Unpopular opinion. They told us to kick rocks when it came to Denise Chapman's firing. So this is a tough pill to swallow. Them asking for community support with that attitude is reflected back to them. Again, so yeah, I appreciate the comments. We're going to get some more information on it before we really, really can dive into the conversation. So appreciate everybody who is paying attention to that and put that in Friends of First Sky Omaha. Like I said, it kind of dominated my feed last night, especially what's going on. Lots of people wanting support. And like I said, the first thing I wanted to do was go to my friend who started this whole thing. She's in support. So we'll be talking about it. She also said, if you want more information, definitely contact the union and talk to them directly, which is what we intend to do. So that's that. And we will move on from there at this point. So thanks for everybody who contributed to that. I just want to remind everybody what we got going on the 28th. This is coming up. Definitely check out the Omaha Public Library's podcast, The Book Drop. Yeah, we took it over. We took it over, and we made some suggestions about what people should be checking out during Black History Month, Black History Year, as far as we're concerned. It happens all year long. So, and Black Futurist Month is something that we also been talking a lot about. So definitely check it out. It was an interesting conversation that we had about some media. And I hope to do more of these types of things here, but shout out to the Omaha Library for this book drop coming. Check it out. It's coming on the 28th, this Friday, wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Most def. Something else happening on the 28th, tenant legal support with attorney Dave Pontos. He's been in the zeitgeist here a lot lately. As a matter of fact, he's been he's hosting some shows on KIOS. As a matter of fact, he's really putting himself out there as the person that is trying to work for tennis rights. So shout out to Dave Pontos and also IB Black Girl for putting this on. They had one on the 21st. They're having another one on the 28th. I'm trying to pull up what my notes say this is about. Excuse me for 1 second. Here it is.
Fight the towers.
Fight the towers. Are you having a housing problem? We got you. Navigating landlord issues or housing troubles can be stressful, but you don't have to work to do it alone. IB Black Girls teaming up with attorney Dave Pontos to bring you the free tenant legal support. Bringing you free tenant legal support. Join us for one-on-one consultations on February 21st. It's already passed. February 28th coming up, where Dave will offer guidance, legal advice, and real steps to help you move forward. You deserve solutions that'll work for you. So sign up today. I'll go ahead and put this in the chat right now. If you figure out that you need to have some discussion with an attorney on some things, this is your opportunity. So go ahead and sign up for that and see if you can get a one-on-one with Dave Pontos on the 28th. Again, shout out to him for all the good work that he's doing on that.
Yeah, man.
So it's really going on. Empowerment Network got some stuff coming up. North Omaha moving forward, transformation 2023. Now's the time. Take collective action. If you know about these events, we'll definitely have somebody on to talk about this event from the Empowerment Network. This is coming up on March 8th. So mark this on your calendar. It's going to be a big one. more information there if you go ahead and hit the QR code that's there. And like I said, as the time rolls on here, we'll definitely talk about this more and bring on some people to talk about what to expect from North Omaha moving forward. Transformation 2030. Shout out to Empowerment Network for putting things on as well. So with that, a couple more things that's happening. Miss Terry Sanders sent this to us. This is happening tomorrow, the 27th. It's going to be at the Hardy Coffee at the Highlander. This is the Meet the Star Coffee and Conversations. So she says, join the Omaha Star for casual gathering to connect with our team, share thoughts and discuss community stories, enjoy a cup of coffee, engage in meaningful dialogue, and learn more about the mission of Omaha's historic publication. Shout out to Miss Terry Sanders for holding down the Omaha Star, man. Incredible. For those of you who don't know, the Omaha Star is the longest running newspaper by a Black woman in America. And they're still doing the do and trying to step it up. She's really bringing it in. So this will be an interesting conversation to go have and find out what they have on their agenda, what they want to do next, and they take suggestions and stuff as well. So go ahead and meet the sisters over there tomorrow if you can at noon, Hardy Coffee Highlander, and have a conversation.
Yeah, they just joint launched a new magazine too with the Sister Sierra that's on there. Be there.
That's right. Okay, yeah, I forgot they were part of that.
Yeah. The Star is a part of that situation. Knob Ties, I believe, is the name of it. So yeah,
very interesting. Mama God. Okay, thank you, Mama God. I appreciate that. Oh, Brianna Fool in the chat. Good morning. She says Dave Pontos is great. Wish he could have been our DA instead of Don Klein.
Man.
Yeah, that was the last time we talked to him when he was running against Don Klein. That's crazy.
Still got to get Don Klein out the paint.
There's definitely some things to do. A couple more things I want to talk about before we get to the news. This is also happening tomorrow at 6 to 8. This is the Black History Extravaganza. Nice. The scoop on Black History Extravaganza. I guess you can come and get yourself some ice cream and talk about Black history. This is at Yellow Brick Road on Blondo. This is way out there on Blondo, 16909 Blondo Street. Yellow Brick Road Early Childhood Development Center is putting this on. They've been really pushing this, so I appreciate that they're doing this, especially out west. That's where the Black History talk is needed.
Man.
So yeah, man, go to the ice cream social and check it out. See what they're talking about. Guest speakers, over 40 vendors. Taste of Heaven food truck. So there's gonna be some food out there, some conversation. Looks like a good deal. I'm not really familiar with Yellow Brick Road Early Childhood Development Center, but hey, if they take care of the babies and they're giving away ice cream, I'm with it. We'll see. If you happen to go, let us know. Report back.
That's interesting.
What's that? Why do you think that?
What's rabbit hole? It's a rabbit hole, man. But the fact that it's out there, it's out west, and I'm starting to see more and more, Black history. Just the Black community is moving out west, and I feel a certain way about it. I do think a part of that is the whole getting out of the hood trope and thinking that going to certain neighborhoods. I actually just saw somebody post about this. She says, living in Bellevue, I love the community. It's a quieter neighborhood, but I get called the N-word every once in a while. Yeah.
What a trade-off.
Man, right, exactly. Oh, man, whoa, what a trade-off. And it is very interesting. Again, this is a whole rabbit hole. I had no plans on talking about this in this show or anything, but it just, seeing that post just sparked thoughts about that and how much of, the Black community moving out west is forced due to housing changes, and how much of that is, voluntarily due to, viewing other communities as an upgrade when we get a little money, which is something that happens in our community.
Also, we also got to blame it on the way that the school got bust out there in the 90s.
Man, all of these things, redlining, all of these things. But I'm here in Omaha, or here being in Atlanta, I just feel like at times I'm slowly watching the decline of North Omaha and the community that I grew up in.
Changing.
Yeah, it's a fear. Like, what would it look like if North Omaha, like, what is Native Omaha Days out on 132nd and Blondo? Like, is that a thing? Is that a thing?
I don't think that's gonna be a thing. No.
Native Omaha Day Parade on 120th and Center. Is that where we're going?
It's a good question. We early on, a couple years ago when we started this, we were really thinking about that. Like we were very geo-centered when we were doing the radio station, because there's only a certain range that you can reach folks. So we were really concentrated on that range. But when we started doing this, we started understanding Black community is everywhere around Omaha and outside. And so are we doing this for a specific geographic area, or for the culture, for people that are wherever they're at? And we definitely switched to the culture side, but that led me to say, okay, well, we need to do a little bit more fighting for like the historic district of the Deuce and other in places that we can still call, that's in our history. And there's always going to be people fighting for that. So Native Omaha Days is always going to be in around North Omaha somewhere.
Hopefully, but
Exists.
we'll cut to a commercial, or to a break here in a second. But it is pertinent to everything that we're talking about, because we're talking about creating change in our community. We're talking about just bettering each other's lives. And the way that we're finding to do that is, through the civic process. But if, the district that Brother Terrell McKinney is running on, and he runs on a Black agenda, and that's not really what his constituency looks like. Or as we talked to Brother Maurice Jones here in a second, his platform is very pro-Black. But again, what does the constituency really look like? Like, it's again a rabbit hole, but yeah, that's where my head is right now.
Something to talk about, and this is something that we'll continue to talk about here on the show for sure. Before we go to the break, just want to shout out one more meetup that I think is really interesting and pretty important out here. This is going to be at the center, the South Omaha Museum of Immigrant History. This is a Black, Brown, and Red meetup. Somebody's really trying to reach out and say, hey, let's unite. United for action, building community in critical times. Thursday, February 27th is tomorrow from 5:30 to 8. If this interests you, definitely check it out at the South Omaha Museum of Immigrant History, 1941 South 42nd Street, Suite 222 on the second floor. So check it out. You can also, it looks like they got a page, Black and Brown Omaha on Facebook. You can check that out. There'll be food and beverages. This is something to see. Something to see. We talk about this all the time, the uniting of everybody who is fighting against certain leanings in this state. So the unity is where it's all about. United for action, going down. We'll put this in Friends of First Sky Omaha for you to check out. And with that, with that, we'll take a quick break, and we'll come back and we'll jump into a few headlines, and then a special guest, Maurice Jones, will be joining us. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, between time, my name is Paul B. Hey, he's buddy to God. Yeah, man, life is God. It's going down. First Sky Omaha in the morning. We'll be right back, y'all. Stay tuned.
Hey, don't touch nothing. Yo. Good morning. I see Sean McCarthy in the chat. Good morning to you. Appreciate you coming on through. First Sky Omaha in the morning. You guys feeling good on this hump day? Man, great question. Hump day. How we feeling?
Yeah, man. How you guys doing out there? Let us know how you feeling. What's going on? Appreciate Stacey McLean Honeycutt in the chat. Talking about that blackout. You gotta message that long. Go ahead and send it over to Friends First Sky Omaha for us. We ain't gonna read it on here, but we down with it. We were showing this the past couple of days. Economic blackout happening on February 28th, 2025. She has some good points in there, like don't go stocking up before the day. If you don't black out, spend double the day before the blackout. So
yeah, I'm gonna just run to Walmart on Thursday.
Appreciate that. Yeah. So definitely check out her in the chat, and then go to her page. She got a lot of stuff going on. We always are posting stuff that she has going on. Shout out to her for doing the good work of bringing folks together and really standing on business and pushing business out there as well
Yeah,
for
man.
the Black
Yeah.
community. Big time, bro.
Yeah.
Shout out to Brother Kasim. Peace, bro. Appreciate you coming on in this morning. Can't wait to hear about how the meeting went the other day, and everything else that you got going on coming up as well. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat, man. I'm really happy, feeling good. Like we got the fam in the chat this morning,
Man,
chopping up. So
big time. And I'm glad they're here. I'm glad they're here, man. I actually got something on my chest, man. I'm gonna go a little off script, Paul, if that's all right.
yeah, always.
Yeah, man. Just heavy on the what we doing. Heavy on the what are we doing? What are we doing? You know, Paul and I, just a little transparency. We always have conversations and always reevaluate what it is that we're doing, the direction that we're going, how it is that we're, achieving our goal of, amplifying Black voices, celebrating the culture and pushing the culture forward. I'm a thinker. And sometimes the direction of this show, I'm trying to make sure that we are staying true to that mission, and sometimes we get lost in this process, of sticking to articles and trying to talk about what's going on. But again, what are we doing? The heavy on the what are we doing in the community. For those of you just now tuning in, I kind of went down a rabbit hole of North Omaha not being the North Omaha that we grew up with. And again, we'll be talking to Brother Maurice Jones here in a second. But just what's the plan? Where are we going? There's a lot of candidates running for District 2. And there's a heavy energy on keeping North Omaha together, keeping the community together. And I have a few examples of that happening. And, definitely in this time of Trump, we're going to need that more. But what's the plan? Seems a little disjointed. And I'm down here in Atlanta. I love Omaha. I'm my own Omaha, and I take Omaha with me everywhere I go. Quite literally, it's tattooed on my arm. Like I take Omaha with me everywhere I go. But what are we doing? Where are we going? Thank you, Sister Shelton Shar, also in the chat. She says, in 3 Black mayoral candidates, which we'll be getting into here in a second. Another name has been thrown into the ring, a Dr. Terry Brewer, who I'm not familiar with. But yes, that joining the likes of also Brother John Ewing and Sister Jasmine Harris as the 3 Black candidates running for mayor. Again, as we mentioned earlier in the show, 12 or so different city council people, candidates running for city council is only in District 2.
Shout out to Cheryl Weston for sending us this. These are the ones who are officially
signed
so far.
And also thinking of the blackout. Thank you for posting that, Sister Stacy, as far as this blackout coming up on Friday. What are we doing? I do want to shout out the examples of the community coming together, but we're going to need a lot more of it. Definitely shout out to those who came out and supported. The clock is still ticking on that, so if you haven't donated, definitely make sure we support Idle Vital. Of course, they had the fundraiser over the weekend. Shout out to Sister Lala for putting that together. Of course, there was some talent out there as well. I saw State Poet, put some respect on her name, Jewel Rogers, doing her thing out there as well. Shout out to Paul B, just posted the GoFundMe link in the chat. So again, shout out to those of you who supported that situation. Also, want to reiterate, shout out to Brother Sherman Wells, who's doing the work as always. If you missed our episode on Friday, there's a call to action for a sister who, again, is currently locked up in Virginia. And there's a call to action for the community to step up and help her with a timely release, as she's been dealing with some very, very inhumane conditions, to say the least. I'll spare the time. Definitely check out Sherman Wells' Sermons with Sherman. Check out his page for more information on that. Also, want to give a shout out to the likes of Tamika Meese and IB Black Girl. Again, we'll be talking about a few things, but IB Black Girl has been very busy. Sister Tamika Meese and IB Black Girl teamed up to help those who were dealing with the conditions in the school drop closings last week. and help purchase or help them pay for some childcare, which again goes a long way. And what I'm getting at is heavy on the we all we got, but that's enough if we know what to do with it, if we know how to use it. I'll start with this response as we're seeing in the community. Shout out to For Us Nebraska, I believe is the organization. This again is talking about the response to the federal cuts. And again, I'm going somewhere with this as far as what's the plan? What are we doing? And are we aware that we're going to have to do it together? Actually, Nebraska For Us is the organization. But this is coming out of KMTV3. Neighbors are rallying against the cuts to Medicaid and SNAP, which I'm sure some of you have heard of and are aware of. And again, many Omahans trying to figure it out and coming together. Nebraska For Us is one of those organizations leading that as far as the bringing people together concerned with the cuts will have a big impact on our local communities. According to Nebraska For Us, cuts to both Medicaid and SNAP could affect over 300,000 Nebraskans and over 100,000 children. Could also impact SNAP benefits. The uncertainty of when you might have your next meal is very real. Very, very real situation. But it's not just again SNAP, which I don't know about y'all, but my family used SNAP. I fed my children with SNAP before I left Omaha, and haven't really been trying to navigate the Georgia system. But yeah, it's real. People have to rely on that. We've been talking about housing, which we'll talk about a little more. But I just saw a report, I believe, out of WOWT or Channel 3. Couple in Council Bluffs, again, have 2 jobs and living in a tent right now. Very easy for us to all find ourselves in that situation. Again, the pandemic showed that a lot of us are a $500, car issue, some kind of emergency away from not being able to pay rent. So
Not
again,
even emergency, just deciding to pay rent or buy groceries.
Man, real decisions are having to be made, and it's getting tighter. Having conversations with family members. There's still some Trump moves that could impact a lot of people's. People been living off credit cards. If these emergency bills start getting reported by these credit bureaus,
Big time.
Man. Go ahead, Paul. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. I definitely want to jump in here. We're getting some really good comments coming in. I appreciate you guys. Joaquin Fox a little earlier said the best question to ask at regular intervals, which is your "What are we doing?" question. A great refocusing question, and we need to have that answer in every field.
Man,
Rich, I really appreciate that. Also, Clarice Jackson gives us a good morning. I appreciate you and the work that you do as well. And with all the people that we've been talking about here. Also, Marlon Harris in the chat says, I feel like North Omaha has an identity crisis. The one side is the black community who wants to keep North Omaha black, and on the other side, you have immigrants who want to make their presence known. That's just 2 of the sides. I feel like there's 3 or 4 or 5 other sides to what's going on in the neighborhood for sure. Stacy McLean Honeycutt says, good question. What are we doing? What is the plan? Appreciate that very much. Mama God says, it's driven from emotion from current politics climate. Is it driven from emotion? Yeah, I definitely think that too is something to look at. Emotion driven decisions. And when I say emotion driven decisions, I see that. I see a lot of beef going on between people a lot of times in our community that and they just say, forget it, I'll do it myself. So lots of that kind of stuff happening. Also, Bree Full in the chat says, I'm having conversations with elders in North Omaha, and I can't convince them to support young candidates running for City Council District 2. I'm not voting for more of the same. So some more,
divides. Okay,
definitely some other things coming in there. Clarice Jackson says we have a lot to do for real,
big time.
Black literacy, she's saying, is matters. At minimum, we must not tolerate the literacy rates of our children. Let us know how your Black literacy event went as well. Love to hear about that. Also, Joaquin Fox says studies show one unexpected expense can put more than 60% of our community into crisis.
Yeah, man.
We in the crisis all the time. We've been living like this for a long time. A lot of us have been living like this for a long time. And we have all these things, these mechanisms in place. Like Buddy says, we're all we got, but it's enough. If there's a whole lot of folks I can call and be like, hey, I got a problem here. I need to borrow $300. It's not a whole, I guess it's not a whole lot of people, but some.
Enough.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, enough when it comes to it. and the fact it's just how we navigate and network and help each other out, and we got to do it amplified this time around too. We got a special guest waiting in the wings, so we're gonna bring him in just a second. But I want to say one last thing before we get to it. Really appreciate your comment, buddy. Your sentiment right now, because this is a question that kind of permeates our every show and every conversation that we have, and you kind of are putting out there explicitly and having some some real good feedback here from certain members of the chat,
I appreciate that.
which I want to really comment on. Our show is different from other shows. We don't put a whole lot of push on a podcast that's going to reach the masses, because we're more about the conversation that we're having with the people that we're having it with. And I feel proud every time we do it, because of the fact that we have the constituency that we do in the chat as ghost listeners. We don't have the millions of listeners listening. What we do have is the very important movers and shakers of the scene. We got your ear. We got the discussion going on with y'all. Clarice Jackson, Jakeem Fox, everybody. I can go down the line here. Stephen Abraham just came on. Ariel's 402 with the great ideas. Bree Fool, who's doing the work in OPS. You know what I'm saying? Mama Guy, Stacey Honeycutt McLean, Stacey McLean Honeycutt, that's doing the work, that's out here putting business together. Shelton Shar, who's run for office. There's so many people in the chat. I feel like we have the right people listening, the right people in the conversation. Brother Kasim comes in, Brother Sherman Wells all the time, Brother Terrell McKinney coming on the show all the time. Like, we got the right people talking. If anything's going to happen and we are going to have this unity and get together, it's going to be because these people that we are constantly talking to right now are the ones that are going to head that up. So
gotta be.
I just got to say that I'm super. We stress a little bit over numbers sometimes, how many people are actually listening, but when we figure out the caliber of people listening, that's where the strength lies here. So shout out to y'all for actually Boots to the Roots doing the work. We really appreciate it. And with that, I'm going to bring in another young man who's trying to do some of the same, man. Boots to the Roots, making some kind of difference within the community, making some kind of change. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Maurice Jones to join us. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
What's going on, my brother? How you doing?
Well, it's early morning, but I'm in good spirit. It's going to be a nice day out, so I look forward to getting out there today and knock my doors like I do every single day.
Okay.
I'll let you have it.
Well, we're real loose around here in the way that we want to make sure that our listeners, everybody who's here, who doesn't know you, you just introduce yourself. And, we want to know who you are first and foremost before we start jumping into bombarding you with a bunch of questions. But please get your questions ready. We really appreciate everybody coming for this interview. Let's respect our guest. And first and foremost, man, who are you and what you about, bro?
Yeah, where you from?
Absolutely. So I'll answer. Who am I? I grew up all my life in this community. I'm 26 years old. I went to St. Richard's for elementary. I eventually graduated from Omaha North High School, and I am University of Nebraska Omaha, soon to be graduate. I'm just a few credits shy of a double major in history and English, and a minor in political science. I care deeply about this community, and I had a trip as a high school student that changed my life and made me appreciate the importance of civic engagement and showing up when it's important. I'm running for city, and why I'm running, I'm running for city council because our platform is built on power, equity, and generational wealth. Power because it begins by recognizing that the strength that we already have. Our community is filled with talent. You were just talking about this. Mm-hmm. Our community is filled with hardworking people who are ready to lead, and we deserve leadership that listens, engages, and ensures every resident has a voice in shaping our future. Number two, equity. It means creating opportunities for economic growth, better wages, stronger public services in North Omaha. We must level the playing field by increasing access to high-wage jobs, for example, improving infrastructure, and investing, in a city that truly works for everybody, not just a handful of people. And the last bit is the generational wealth component of our campaign. It's about ensuring that our children inherit assets, not struggles. And by supporting Black businesses, expanding home ownership, and eliminating, those predatory debt, we can build a future where wealth stays in our community and that wealth that grows for generations.
Nice.
And lastly, the really reason why I'm running is because North Omaha has no deficits. Everything we need is already here. We deserve leadership that brings us together and that mobilizes our strengths and ensures that District 2 moves forward, not just for today, but for the future as well. And that's what I offer. That's what I offer. So a little bit about me, and then what am I about, and that's the essence of why I'm running.
Nice. It kind of jumps out to me that you mentioned, you had an experience in high school. It sounds like you can you kind of speak to that experience?
Sure, I'd be happy to. In 2015, I took a trip down to the South, and I learned about the civil rights movement in a way that wasn't taught to me in the classroom.
Okay.
I witnessed President Obama speak at the Edmund Pettus Bridge, a bridge named after a prominent figure within the KKK, and it just changed my life to see a black man, a first black president, speak in front of that bridge. The contrast is just that's what's possible in America.
Were you on the is that the Preston Love tour?
So this was prior to Preston Love's.
Okay.
This was actually done by Sharif Lawaru and Gabrielle Gaines Lawaru.
Hey.
I went all the way down to the South. It was the first time I ever went to a soul food buffet. I never knew that soul food buffets.
What?
That's a
real thing?
That's a real thing, man. Yeah.
Everything that you expect from soul food.
I'd be in trouble.
And then I went to 16th Street Baptist Church, and I learned about schoolgirls that lost their life due to terrorism, and how they named the town Birmingham because of how widespread bombs were used to terrorize Black communities. And it just hit me a different way. I know the people that many of those guys are long gone and passed away now, but it had such an impact on me, and it is one of the reasons why I'm here today doing the work.
Man, that's huge. So I'll give a little backstory that Paul and I, like, you're speaking our language, because Paul and I have this conversation all the time about getting people out, like making sure that people have experiences from our community that are outside of the community and can bring those perspectives back to the community. That I can't speak enough to that point there. That's why I wanted to ask that. But to hear the experience that you had, I actually want to push back something that you're saying as far as
sure.
Saying that history is not as distant as you would think. We just celebrated Will Brown a couple years ago, about 5 or 6 years ago was the centennial of Will Brown. Some of their grandchildren are still around. Some of their children are still around. Some of those ideas, some of those, some of that's still around. So I'm just glad that you're coming from that perspective.
Yeah, I am.
Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. When we talk about generational wealth and transfer wealth, certainly those families have benefited. And when we talk about redlining in North Omaha, we know the history very well. And there's a documentary that focuses on the impact that it had on our community, and it still does. It's a self-perpetuating cycle. And if there's no outside intervention or work to be done to stop the impact that it's having, then it will self-perpetuate. And that goes into a lot of what we're talking about, and that's why our platform is rooted in these 3 pillars of power, equity, and generational wealth. We understand that our history is a blueprint of self-sufficiency and not self-deprecating compromises. We as Black people, our history is one of strength and resilience and figuring things out and not waiting for someone to come save us, because that's not what's going to happen
at all.
Let me jump in. I got so first of all, I appreciate you doing what you're doing and for the reasons that you're doing it. I've been hearing your name around. I haven't met you yet, but I've been hearing your name around. A lot of folks been chiming up. As a matter of fact, I think we met through Joaquin Fox, who's talking about your run, your campaign. Also, I saw you working out with Brother Kasim one time. I was shaking my head. I was like, Brother Kasim about to break this brother.
Man, oh yeah.
Well, it sounds like he might be more broken than me because he hasn't hit me back up to go back to the.
Wait a minute. Wait. He's in the chat right now. He said he refused to work out with me anymore. This dude is hilarious. So y'all got a thing going back and forth here. I see.
He started talking about how sick he was and how he couldn't keep up.
Hey, bro. Look. I was with you until you started talking mess about Brother Kasim. I'm scared for you now. So hold up. No, I'm just playing. I do want to say, so first and foremost, the couple things is striking me right now. I'm twice your age for one thing.
Sure.
So when you as a 26-year-old brother, I can see why you feel like maybe some of the things that's happened in civil rights was a while ago, and you're bringing it up to now for yourself, which I'm proud of. That's how to do it. But the other thing that I'm wondering about is when a brother is out here running, especially if you're running on trying to pull people together, some unity. I don't know a whole lot of young brothers that have enough of a hand in the community, enough gravitas in the community to bring everybody in the community together, even know who all the people in the community are to bring together, and so on and so forth. And also, this is also tied to this fact that we have so many people running for District 2. Have you met with any of these folks? Have you guys tried to collab before you decided to run? What made you decide to run knowing all these other people are running? You get where I'm going with the question?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is how I'll start off by answering that question. How do I know what I'm doing is right? And how do I know that our platform is in line with what the community wants? I know this because I knock on over 115 doors a day, and I listen to what people actually want. This platform is built for those conversations, not assumptions. And no one else has done it. This isn't politics as usual. This is a real leadership that starts with people. And I'm out there and I don't take it for granted. I know this is something I have to earn. It's going to be a tough race. And it's a crowded field because people want change. And I encourage it. I'm happy. But the fact is that two candidates in this race represent the past, and there's one other candidate that has a legacy name. If we want change in this community, we have to stop going with the status quo. We can't vote for names that reappear on the ballot. We can't vote for names that have a legacy name. We need a change. And since I was born in 1998, the median household income has gone down. When I was born, it was around $50,000 in North Omaha average, and it's less than that by around 48,000. The median household income in the city, the average, is 72,000. So, I mean, we really have to aggressively address that. And when we even talk about law enforcement interactions, we know, in fact, show that when you're making more money, you don't have, your likelihood of interacting with law enforcement is less. When you can pay for your plates on your car or your tags, you don't have to worry about them pulling you over and them finding probable cause because your car, I'm not saying everybody's car smells like weed, but certainly if your car smells like weed, they're going to have probable cause to search it. And then they're going to find the gun. And they're going to find this and find that. I think we need to find the way we keep our people in this community out of the system and system impacted is by radically growing our own and creating wealth for Black people. And, this is the only Black community in the whole state. There's nothing wrong with radically wanting to grow our own and being radically committed to Black people.
Yeah. I get it. I'm still wondering as a young cat, how it is that you plan to to really bring the community together,
Okay.
but more, maybe this is the question. You seem like a pretty intelligent cat that knows that you don't know everything, and you're here to do the research, learn, work.
Sure.
Okay, who's your Jedi Council then? Who do you got behind you that you consult with on some of the things that you don't know and make the connections that you need to make?
I will say in full transparency, Jakeen works for my campaign, and he has been instrumental. Kasim has been instrumental. I will start by saying, I'm focused on outcomes. I know that we have enemies that are out to get this community, but in a general sense, I don't have any permanent people within the community that care about this community. I don't have any permanent enemies. I don't have any permanent friends. I want to focus on outcomes, and that's really important. And one thing I will tell you about one policy idea that we want to roll out, we're going to do a digital canvassing initiative. It's a QR code system that will be replaced, placed throughout the district and at community centers, for example, businesses and public spaces, and it will allow residents to submit feedback on policy issues. They'll be able to report concerns. They'll be able to receive updates in real time. This ensures that that our leadership remains engaged within the community and its evolving needs. Too often, we see elected officials get elected and they forget. Some people change. Ben Gray changed. Not the same Ben Gray that was on Chronic. When he was a journalist. Things change, and we got to hold people accountable. So we have different ways about that. You, for example, you're.
Uh-oh.
Man, he was just getting ready to say something good.
Hey, enemies in the midst, man, hating on us. As soon as they get to talk about black media, huh?
Oh man, okay. I'm sure he'll be on his way back. I appreciate everybody coming in. Miss Honeycutt, I'll definitely ask him to speak on the thing that you were talking about too. 7:45 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, and you're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning. And we'll wait on our special guest. Oh, wait a minute. Are you back in? Hey, bro, you back in? Okay, no, he's trying to get together here. So, yes. So we'll let's take a quick break and we'll come right back and see if we can jump back in with my man. You're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning. I'm Paul B. He's Buddy the Guy. Stay tuned, y'all. We'll be right back. Yeah,
he's just starting to cook.
Little technical issues. Starting to cook. He was gonna say something good about us too. All right, and just like that, we got him back. Right on.
Sorry about that, guys. My internet connection just dropped.
Hey, bro.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. I think can I? Is it good for me to continue?
Yeah, go ahead.
Where I left off, I was going to say, the Black Media Trust. We need to support our Black media organizations. We need to control our narrative. We know the dangers of white media and the narrative that they paint about our communities and how that impacts how people interact with our community. And we need to control those vehicles of information and empower our community to look to Black media like First Sky, Omaha Star. When we talk and interact with journalists, we need to make sure they have priority on their stories so that they're not getting the story from their white news director, and that they're able to present a story to their manager. It's just a range of issues that we have to address, and we have a solution. And I think that adds to, that addresses the question you have, is like, how do we bring all these interest groups together so that we can prioritize outcomes?
Okay. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you coming on through. We'll definitely have you back another time.
I'm not able to hear you, Paul.
Oh, okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
I think he's.
Hello.
Yeah, I think he's got to make some changes there on the phone.
Cox, count your days.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Can you repeat?
Hello, can you hear us?
Yo. Can you hear us yet? Check 1 2 1 2. Okay, he's trying to work it out. Yeah, thank you, brother Ariel's 402. Hit the like and subscribe. You on YouTube. We'll definitely come back. We have a mandate here to interview a lot of the cats that are running. So we will definitely have that conversation. We'll definitely be back and talk to him a little bit more about some things as well. What's going on with this shuffling of the cards here?
Man.
Yeah,
come on now. Take it.
Get it together. He said it was good.
I'm saying he's starting to cook. Let him cook.
Yeah, man. So obviously we'll have him back. We'll have some more questions for him as well. And yeah, man, I think this is what it's about. It's about kind of really, really digging deep and finding out what the motivation is for the candidates running, what they plan to do, This is really getting the conversation going. I see Brother Kasim in there talking about the age thing. He says,
Mm-hmm.
the old cats have been done a number on the community. I started building at the age of 20. Look at me now. Let's stay away from age and focus on the innovative ideas.
There you go.
As an old head myself, I don't want to discount the wisdom of the elders. But as Bree Fool is saying, the elders need to kind of work with the young folks. That's what the wisdom is there for.
That's how it goes. That's how it's supposed to go. If you're not passing the wisdom down, then what you doing?
Yeah.
And again, what we doing?
Yeah.
We gatekeeping? Because if you don't have a succession plan, that's the biggest indication of poor leadership.
Man.
Are you gonna run this thing forever? And when you die, what we gonna do?
Again, shout out to Cheryl Weston who sent us this. She said this is who's running right now, Omaha City Council District 2 nonpartisan. These are the names that are officially filed. We already know that there's 5 or 6 other names out there. A couple of them dropped off. I think Ricky Smith from OPS was running, and then he decided not to. Lavanya Goodwin is on this list. Juanita Johnson is back on this list. Brother William King from 95.7 The Boss, he's running. He got a huge campaign going. Ben Gray was back, which was a very interesting announcement. Nobody really expected.
Really?
Yep. Tyrone Uri. I'm not sure if I'm saying his last name right, but I'm not sure who that is. But they're on the list officially. And then Brother Maurice Jones, who we just talked to as well. And then shout out to the mayoral candidates as well. We just saw some new ones coming in. Dr. Terry Brewer is a new name for me.
Mm-hmm.
We've been seeing a whole lot of Mike McDonald and Gene Stothard in the news because of the comments that Mike McDonald made, which I think is very interesting. But we had talked to Brother John Ewing and Jasmine Harris, 6 months ago, saying that they were ready, they were coming on through, and it looks like they're officially in. They're supposed to be officially in here shortly. So this will be a race coming up that's also, this is interesting, especially in the Black community. Who's we've known. I don't personally know Dr. Terry Brewer, but I know Brother John Ewing, Sister Jasmine Harris, and they have been active for a while. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. And of course, we have Chadchimers like Kimber Snipes, who ran for mayor at one point too. So we got a lot of folks that are in this race. Joaquin in the chat says, I think Maurice got his internet figured out and is waiting. Oh, he's in the waiting room. Okay, my bad. Brother Maurice, you there?
All right. Can you hear me now?
Okay, we can hear you. Yeah, sorry about that.
Can you hear us?
Okay, can you hear me?
Okay,
Yes.
we got you now. Yeah. Okay.
I can't hear you, but my connection is good now. I just can't hear you for some reason. I'm sorry about this, guys.
Oh, okay. It's okay, man. I'm gonna go ahead and shoot you. Let's see. I'm gonna shoot him a message.
He can't hear you.
He can't hear me.
If you can let me call in, I'm happy to call in. If you can connect me through phone, if you send your number in the chat, I'll call in.
Okay. We don't have that set up quite yet, so we'll have you back another time. I'm sending him this message as I'm speaking it.
Yeah, while you doing that, acknowledge a few comments in the chat while you doing that. Sister Terry Crawford coming in. Good morning to you. She says, GM, good morning. A strong community requires bridging generations, respect and collaborate with elders. They build on past progress rather than starting fresh, ensuring continuity of advocacy, succession for real. I mean, if you got to continue starting over, then what progress are you really making?
Yeah, it reminds me of the way things are in our community. When I got to travel a little bit outside of the U.S., I saw a lot of families that were 2, 3, 4 generations deep in a house, and it just really reminded me when I got back into the States how generational wealth is not built in our community because we have that kind of American mindset. Sometimes, like as soon as you turn 18, you got to go out and get your own, and you back in a raggedy apartment with some raggedy furniture, starting from scratch. Instead of, building with the previous generation and growing it, right?
Yeah, and not only that, but you're spreading out, which goes back to my earlier point. How you gonna have representatives that represent you if y'all ain't even together? You gerrymandering yourself.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on why on what's going on in District 2, especially like why we got so many people running. What's the deal? I'm always going to ask that question every time we have any of the candidates on. Have you talked to other candidates? Have you tried to collab with them first? in my old head wisdom, I started saying, let me quit trying to think I got to do it all. I got to do it. If I get the notion to do it, my first thought shouldn't be, well, let me go do it. My first thought should be, who is doing it and how can I help them? Is that a good matchup? Let me see if that works so we could double our efforts. If they are so far left to what it is that I'm trying to do, then I might decide, okay, it's got to be me. But who's where's the collaboration in this way that we need it? Where's the wisdom of the elders helping some of the youth? Like what he said, what Brother Jones just said, what Maurice Jones just told me about canvassing took me back to walking around with Ashley Spivey.
You got to do it.
Senator Ashley Spivey, put some respect on her name.
It works.
She wore through shoes walking around the neighborhoods talking to folks. And that's the power of young folks being able to walk around the neighborhoods talking to folks. It works. It's what's missing. He's putting boots to the roots. But you got people who've been in the game for a long time. Please send that wisdom down to the young folks that can put boots to the roots. I mean, can you imagine that team up if we had the wisdom of the elders that's been in the game, giving it to the beauty of the youth walking around, being able to bring more folks in, more people in door to door, the more the community in, there wouldn't be no stopping us. So there's got to be some collaboration. The competition doesn't work. The collaboration is really the only thing that works. And it right now it's not being reflected in how many, for far as I'm concerned, it's not being reflected in how many people are running. Just District 2 alone is kind of incredible. Where is the I want to see collaboration first.
Yeah,
If not guaranteed it'll work, but if it does, can we try it first? Mama God is asking, do you guys have a set list of questions to ask each D2 guest? No. We dig into what their campaign is. We have a discussion about what we think, what we think of the candidate, and then we kind of tailor it to each one. But the main ones that I'm going to be having is that has there been some collaboration? Why did you decide it's got to be you to run? It takes a lot when you think about what it takes for you to decide you're going to run for office. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of I'm the only one that can do this kind of attitude.
It's a commitment.
There you go. I asked him about his Jedi Council. He named our brother Jakeem, which has been proven boots to the roots out here doing the good work, and has his hand on the pulse. Also, brother Kasim, he named some good names for people that if he's checking in with them on what we need to do around here. And I know he's been talking to brother Kasim because I heard the brother say, what do we got to make a plan on how to take care of ourselves, the self-sufficiency thing. So, yeah, man, it has to happen this way. I appreciate brother Jahi Shabazz in the chat as well coming on in. He said, being great mantra is put 1.4 billion into North Omaha. Obviously, for whites that don't live in North Omaha, all candidates need a $1.4 billion plan of economics into our pockets that can be implemented on day one.
Man, I kind of wanted to get to that. Like somebody had mentioned, the two sides of North Omaha being, the historically Black community that's been there for generations that's trying to maintain that, and then the immigrants. But I don't want to pit those two. Let's keep in mind that there's money that's coming for North Omaha. There's a shiny new airport that's going on one side and a shiny new downtown that's going on the other. I hope y'all see the play. Like that's what we really need to stop playing with. It's not the immigrants, because we can make money with the immigrants if we know what we're doing. But again, do we know what we're doing?
What are we doing is the question. We're going to end with that. We're going to make it. We're going to leave it there. One thing I did want to show real quick, if I can share my screen, is this turnback tax. Brother Terrell McKinney's been talking to us about it. Every year he kind of says, come on, check it out. Some money came out in North Omaha to benefit from $237,811 in grants. And they posted some of the names that are getting some of the money. And this is a different feeling list to me. I'm gonna drop all the way down to the bottom there because our partner at Untamed, Sherman Wells, he's awarded $10,000 for 20 weeks of Sunday dinner. So it's gonna be Sunday dinner, Sunday sermon with Sherman, community meal. You know what I'm saying? Here's a Union for Contemporary Art right there, $10,000 going into 24th and Lake, the Deuce. Palindo Business Development, some people that we talked to, people of color, the POC Collaborative is getting some money. Native Omaha Days is getting $10,000. Island Chill, 10 grand. Some of here's Hollins Corporation. They always bring out some, real dope jazz artists and stuff. They're getting some loot. Who else were we looking at? The Doula Companion, which is we talk about this all the time with Senator Ashley Spivey about funding doulas in our community, big time. Busy Vegan. Hopefully we got another vegan restaurant coming through. So there's some stuff here that we this list feels a little bit different to me. Jim's Rib Haven, for instance. It's just feeling a little bit different, like some more folks that we would hope get a little bit of loot is getting some loot through the turnback tax. So there's, like Buddy says, there's money out there. There's stuff out here that we could be taking advantage of and helping, but we got to collaborate to be able to do it. That's really the bottom line to it, to me. Like, if we don't collaborate and all get on the same page to be able to make any progress, then what progress can be made at that point? So it's got to be unity for me.
Yeah, and it really doesn't even have to be this big elaborate plan. Like, can we just start with the basis of supporting each other? Like, first, can we just start there?
Yeah, man. Get put the beefs aside. This ain't no time for that. If it hasn't been direct, if we haven't felt the direct pressure before, we are absolutely feeling it right now with this current administration. If we don't make some moves towards self-sufficiency, don't know what's going to happen there. So we're going to be part of this, man. Everybody has their part. I'm thinking about BAA right now, Black Agenda Alliance. Brother Kasim is really all about self-sufficiency. He's really limiting himself to other groups. He's like, no, we got to just do this for ourselves and figure this out. And that's a great spot to be in. That's a great role to be in. We got to shore up self first before we can really even collaborate. Our role is a little bit more of let's pull some things together. Let's collaborate. There's got to be some rules. There is beef out there. There is people that can't get along sometimes. There is stuff that sometimes turns personal. There's all these little things that make it so that we can't collab. We have to figure out how we can push past all those personal things and collab.
Man,
once our individual stuff is together.
And I can guarantee you there's some people running for city council because they feel a certain way about Miss Juanita Johnson. I can guarantee you, if it's not one or two names in that list.
Miss Juanita Johnson ran because people felt a certain way about Ben Gray. And I remember when she came in, it was like a whirlwind. Like, how did that? There was so many people backing her to get him out. It felt like it was on purpose. And a lot of people have felt and told me, like, well, we didn't even really consider like what she was going to do when she got there. Now
that's my point. What are we doing? What's the plan?
The plan right now is to end the show. It is 8:02 if you believe in the concept of time. Buddy, you got some last words for the people?
Yeah, man. We're going to keep doing what it is that we do. We appreciate everybody who supports us in that endeavor. Again, we might be making some pivots. We don't know what the future exactly holds for First Sky Omaha, except for us continuing to move forward, continuing to amplify, and continue to have conversations. And we're going to do that. So in the meantime, between time, y'all do what y'all do. Take care of yourselves. Catch the same time, same place. We'll be back on Friday with more conversation. In the meantime, between time, Paul B, take it away, man.
Yo, shout out to the Omaha Tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Shout out to our elders allowing us to speak before you. And shout out to you, the Chatchimers. Like I said, man, we got the best chat ever. We appreciate everybody, all the movers and shakers of Omaha that decide they want to come in and have this conversation with us. And hopefully we can get to some unity and get to some action. So appreciate it very, very much. Appreciate everybody's comments. Please go back and check the show out on YouTube. Like and subscribe if you missed any of it in its entirety. Also, there's some comments on Facebook. You can also go back and check the show out on Facebook and see that as well. And join us Friday when we got another special guest coming in. Stay tuned. Look for that. And let's continue the conversation and get together. Appreciate y'all.
Love y'all.
Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious. This is protected by the red, the black, and the green. At the crossroad, with the key.
By any means